involved, listen to it all. It's touchy topics. Get involved, listen to it all. It's touchy topics and they gon' keep it raw. Talk about whatever, no. Get involved, listen to it all. It's touchy topics and they gon' keep it raw. Talk about whatever, no nonsense. Any kind of subjects, just feel these touchy topics. Get involved, listen to it all. It's touchy topics and they're gonna keep it raw. Talk about whatever, no nonsense. Any kind of subjects, just feel these touchy topics. Feel these touchy topics.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back to Touchy Topic Tuesday. We had a little break, and we're glad that you're tuning back in with us. We are truly excited. Me, author Tony Wolf, and Curtis Austin. We have some great things planned for the show today, and we're just, happy to be here. How's everything going, Curtis and Nancy?
I know we back, man. It's Touchy Topics Tuesday, man. You know what Tuesdays ain't just for tacos, you heard me?
Ain't that the truth? Just happy to be here again. Today we have a wonderful show planned. We're going to be discussing the other side of abuse, talking with men and experiences with domestic violence. Feel free to call in to 855-493-6499. Call in anytime. Ask questions, make comments. Feel free. I just want to introduce our guest today. We have to the side of me, we have Rob Waters.
Hey, what's up? How you doing? What's up?
Thank you for being on the show, Rob.
No problem.
Rob is an aspiring model and actor. He is a DMV native, and he is a very great person and happy and willing to be on the show and share some things when it comes to our topic today or this evening. So thank you again for being on. Then we have Cortez. Cortez is also a DMV native who now resides in Florida. He is an aspiring comedian, And we're so happy to have him on the show as well. He's going to share some other experiences of the other side of abuse. Welcome to the show, Cortez.
Thank you for having me.
We are happy to have you. And so now we're going to move forward. Curtis.
Yeah, So we are excited to have these men on the show today. Of course, we know November was our domestic violence month, so we wanted to really have that show then. There was some things that came up that we had to postpone the show, but we're glad to have these men on today. And having these men on today is we're going to talk about a serious issue. Ain't no issue too touchy or too taboo for us on Touchy Topics Tuesday. But we thank the men for coming and being able to share their stories, because see, the one thing about it is that, man, we always hear about what happens to women in abusive situations, but we never hear about it from the other side. And a lot of times it's things that go on that men don't speak about. One, because, who really wants to say that they went through something, domestically violent with a woman, and they were on the short end of the stick. But the reality of it is that it happens more than we realize it. And now these men are giving a voice to it right now. And also, too, it's going to be some things that's been said today that also Rob is going to share as well, man, about, how it affects people when they see it firsthand, whether growing up or in a house or what have you, right? But I appreciate you men coming on, and I think Trina's going to go into a little bit about the men, and then we're going to jump right into the questions.
Yes. Thank you, Curtis. So with Rob here, who I have sitting next to me, his story is a little bit different, which he will get into, but we're going to start off with talking to Rob, because this is kind of like the beginning stages of things he experienced growing up, as he was growing up with his mother. And then we're going to get into talking with Cortez, who was actually in a marriage with someone who was emotionally abusive. So our discussion is open. Like I said before, please feel free to call in and leave your comments in the live section. And just please tune in, and maybe you can learn a little bit more on the other side of abuse. So Rob, would you like to kind of speak and give your background?
All right. Okay. Well, my name is Rob. I'm 31 years old. I'm from PG County. My incident actually happened when I was 9, 10, 11. I was real young as it was going on. And so, you want me to start from there?
Yes.
Okay.
Wherever you feel comfortable.
All right. So, with my situation, I had an abusive stepfather who was abusing my mother. So, it just kept going on. Back and forth. They'd be break up, they'd be together, then they back off. And then it got to the point where they were officially broken up. And it's around the time when I was probably 13, 14. So they were broken up for a little while. I was happy about that. Lord knows how happy I was when that stuff was over, supposedly. Situation happened. They ended up getting back together, which caused ended up her being murdered when I was 16, and that was in 2005. And that was happening in 2005. So, any specific thing you want to know, I can tell you. So, how you want to?
Okay, so
I'm sorry,
okay.
Trina, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask, when it first started, when you were younger, how did that make you feel? Did you think it was normal? Were you angry towards your stepdad? Like, what was going on at that age?
When I was young, I was definitely angry about it all the time. Just imagine you 10, 11 years old, you 100 pounds, this dude 300 pounds. What can you do? Like, yeah. It's like, what can you do at 11, 10 years old? 6 foot, whatever it was, 6 feet tall, 5'11", 300 pounds, I'm 100 pounds. I used to get so mad. Sometimes I would grab something and be ready to crack him in the head with it. Like, this was normal. Like, I was always ready at some point. Like, I just knew it's like certain times, middle of the night, you hear too much argument, I just knew something was going on. And that's when I was more around 12, 13 when I started noticing it more. Because a lot of times it would happen, stuff happens when you're not there. It was more like anger and sadness. Because it's like I can't do nothing about it because I'm this small and I'm this age. So it was definitely like terrible. It was a terrible time to even see it. And I've definitely seen it a couple of times. I didn't see it every time, but I've seen it a couple of times.
When you, first off, let me just say, man, you just really laid out a heavy story. You know what I'm saying? And basically, it's all the stuff that we heard about you so far. I first want to applaud you because what you really just talked about, you talked about some serious trauma. The trauma wasn't just to your mother. It was definitely trauma to you. And as you were dealing with that, what was the things that you used to cope during those times when you were seeing those things happen and felt helpless? What was you using to cope for yourself? Like, how was you coping with that scenario?
I don't think I really was. I was just stuck and I didn't know what to do. I was just young. It's like you just seeing it and you really don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I was more happy if I went to like my grandmother's house or something, or to go away sometimes. But anytime they were broken up, I was happy. But back together, you just know eventually something stupid's gonna happen and you got to deal with it again.
Yeah, definitely.
It was more like that. It was just like you're young, you're 10, 11 years old, and you just seeing this stuff happen all the time.
Right.
Can I ask a question? I want to interject on that too. So now that you much older, has that transitioned into where you have become abusive in any of your past relationships?
No, never. Okay. I get mad if I see it. It angers me to see it. I don't even want to see it in my face. I can't do it. Nah, not me.
Yeah, I definitely, because they say that sometimes when things happen and you're in front of it and that becomes a norm in your mind, and then you begin to evolve into what you see. But I definitely can tell that you definitely have not gone down that path. One of the things that I wonder, at this time, was there any time that you, like, how did that alter you? Did it alter your perception of men, period? Like, outside of yourself, I mean, you're a man yourself, but at the same time, as you growing up, did it infuse like trust issues when it came to other men? Did it like alter your perception of men, period, all the way across the board because of what happened?
What I can say about that is it was more. It would have been if she was still alive, and I wouldn't want her to be with nobody. But to other men, I mean, in certain ways, yeah. Not like it was going to happen to me, but in certain ways, yeah. Because let's just say a week and a half before it happened, me, my sister, my brother talked to him in the car. He said, "I will never hurt your mother again." Week and a half later, it happened.
Yeah. I didn't, like, you just let me into like a little bit more just now. Like, so first off, he gives you this particular statement, but he just didn't give it to you. Now I realize you got a brother and a sister. Are you the oldest, the youngest, the middle?
I'm the second oldest. My sister and brother are a year younger than me. They twins.
They twin. Wow.
And so, let's just say they took it harder and worse as the years went on, a little bit more than I did. I had to like grow up a little bit faster to keep it going.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Like, how did it affect them, and what part did you have to play, knowing now that your mother was gone and you had two twin siblings that you had to look after? Like, how did that affect your whole world? Because to me, like, hearing this in 2005, this happened to you, was 16 years old. To me, for real, at the age of 10, you really didn't have an opportunity to have a childhood. Like, you just really was skyrocketed into being, mentally capable or trying to be pushed to a mentally capable individual to be able to deal with everything you was dealing with. So how did it change your whole childhood, and how did it affect your siblings, and how did you help navigate them through this all?
Well, my sister definitely stayed closer to me. My brother definitely took it a little harder for a couple more years, let's say, because me and my sister got ourselves together a lot faster than he did. But he's okay now. He's doing his thing. He's working. But I just think for certain people, it just takes a little bit longer for them to like get back into the groove of you have to keep going in life. You have to do something. You can't just sit around and think about this one or two things forever. But definitely for a couple of years, I was bad. Like, it'll keep popping up. Like the first couple of months, it'll pop up every day in your head. You start crying and thinking about it. Then after a year or so, happen every month or so. And as time goes on, it slows down. I know for my brother, it probably kept happening every month, but.
Well, let me ask them. I want to ask something real quick. I don't know if it was discussed yet. Have you ever went or sought treatment through like therapy or anything like that?
Yeah, literally a couple of months after that, yeah. And me, my brother, and sister went. And I was the only one that talked.
Do you think the therapy helped in any way?
A little bit, because it got me to talk, but not too much, because you're 16, 17 years old. So, and your mind is just messed up at that point.
So, have you as an adult went back to therapy?
No, I haven't needed it.
Okay.
I'm pretty good at keeping myself functioning and going. So.
Okay, do you have any children?
Yes, I have 2 daughters. They're 10 and 11.
Wow.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Trina.
I just wanted to ask, what was the outcome of your mom being murdered? What happened to your stepfather?
Oh, he went straight to jail. He's still locked. He's not coming out. He's in jail. I don't know what state he's in right now, but I've even seen a couple of his family members the last couple of years, and they try to get me to. He's wanted to talk to me or send me a letter or something like that, but I'm not doing that. I'm okay with that. I don't need to talk to him.
What tools do you use now? Like, what tools do you use as to, I guess, how can I say, to not allow that experience to, I guess, control, your life now?
I definitely read a lot more than I used to when I was younger. What keeps me calm is I can listen to some music and I'll just be okay. I go outside, listen to music, the nice calm setting, and I'll be okay. It's like little small things keep me going. Like, I'm not too extra with anything.
Yeah.
Like now, by the time now I'm 31, 32, I'm okay. It's not like gonna make me sit around and start crying every day again. Of course, when her birthday comes, which is September 3rd, I think about it. But
well, have you, as a result, have you found yourself being into abusive relationships with women?
I've been hit by my girlfriend before, yeah, definitely, but I'm not going to do anything. Definitely no.
Well, no, I'm talking about on the other side, as the woman showing abuse, to you.
Pushed or hit, but not nothing like somebody's fighting. No, but I'm going to laugh and walk away. I'm not touching no woman. Not happening.
Yeah.
Not on me.
Yeah.
I noticed that too, like a lot of people, right, that go through experiences like traumatic situations like that, that they end up becoming advocates, one thing I know about the injustice in the justice system, Anthony, Wolf, he's actually an activist now when it comes to injustice. He has a business called Out for Justice, but not Out for Justice, but tell me the name of your business again, Anthony.
It's the Great Injustice.
It's the Great Injustice. But the thing about it is, like, most people, become advocates. So have you become an advocate in the regards of, wanting, like, just trying to help people in that situation now, or,
I haven't not personally, but I've been to a couple of little marches and stuff about it, but not me personally, no.
Yeah.
Not saying I wouldn't. That's not a bad thing because I definitely know a lot about it. I've been through it, so but not personally, no.
This gonna be probably my last question on this, unless somebody else got it. But what advice would you give to somebody that's in that situation right now, and somebody that has children witnessing that type of situation right now?
First, I would say try to get away. Leave that person as soon as you possibly can because it's gonna get worse. Sometimes people love you so much that they will do something to harm you, and that's what they say. They love you so much they'll do. They will try to hurt you. So if you don't want your kids to see that, you don't want your kids to be around that. That's terrible. I had to see that for years. Like, you don't want to see that. And then imagine you're in a courtroom and they're explaining what happened in your apartment that you lived in your whole life. So you know everything they're talking about, everything that's happening as they're going through every step of what happened. So you sitting there thinking. So as of right now, I still know everything that happened everywhere in my apartment the day it happened that she was murdered. And it's not going to go away. I still know my whole setup from that apartment in 2005.
So we see the effects of 15 years later. Trauma is real. One of the things that I would say about that as well is that a lot of times we convince ourselves, people convince themselves when they're in situations like that they can't get out, or that the person really do love them, or they convince themselves that the lie, because the same lie that he told Rob and his siblings, that he had never heard her again, I'm sure he said that to his mother. Mm-hmm. So if you're in that situation right now, and if you think that you can't, you think that this person is going to change, I'm telling you, like, don't buy into the lie. One thing about it is that people, they continue to just try to make sure that they keep what's safe for them. But I'm telling you, it's not safe for you. Later on in the show, we'll share some resources for domestic violence hotlines that you can call if you're in this situation. But just remember that, as Rob is sharing, this is something that's not going to change. If you're in that scenario, it's not going to change. I don't want to put nobody out there right now. It's not a bad thing, but I mean, people have experienced this situation. So I'll be one to kind of say, so we can pivot into talking with Cortez. Cortez has a story where Cortez was married to someone. Now he was saying, and he's going to go more in depth about his scenario, that it wasn't all physical. And that's another thing that we got to realize, that abuse is not always physical. Trina, I'm throw it back in your court, and then you can go on.
Yes, and I know we're going to move into speaking with Cortez, and Rob will still be here with us if you all would like to call in and ask any questions, as well as Cortez the rest of the show. But I do have one more question for you. I personally know that you all have a close family, and a family that's here in the DMV that is pretty large in numbers. So how did your stepfather come across to your family?
Well, it was half and half. Like, some people would like him, some people thought he was kind of slick or sneaky. Some people like you, some people don't. Some people did like him, not everybody though. But the people that knew definitely didn't like him at all. If they knew that it happened in the past, they didn't mess with him at all. And they just wanted it to be over with. Yeah. And it happened when I was at school, so it was crazy. Me and my sister and brother, we were at school when it happened. Literally had just went to school. I was in my second class.
Well, I personally want to say I'm sorry for what you've been through, and I thank you for sharing your experiences with us. And if you have anything to share later on throughout the show, please share, because, I am against domestic violence, which anyone should be. But I know the effects of it and the long-term effects, even with you saying today what your personal story is. And it's nothing to play around with from anyone. And I'll say more of my last thoughts. But thank you. Tony,
no problem.
Tony, did you have anything before we move into speaking with Cortez?
Cortez, I definitely appreciate you coming on the show. My phone right now, because my calls are coming in, the volume went down, so I can barely hear. So whenever that happens, I have to go out and come back in, Trina. So I'm just letting y'all know, and
Okay.
I apologize for that.
You can put it on.
Definitely. We want to definitely keep in touch with you because you got a story to tell. I actually advocate for domestic violence. Trina also has, some advocacy with that. So we definitely want to talk to you more about that in that area. So we can definitely get that message out there. Okay.
Definitely. You can put your phone on airplane mode so the calls will stop coming in, so you won't get knocked out.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to do that, but now I'm gonna put it on airplane mode, and then I'm gonna go out and come back in. So Trina, you gotta let me back in so I can get the volume back up. All right.
Yeah.
So Cortez,
Okay.
one of the things, so Cortez, come on in, man. Try and tell us about your situation, your story, man.
It's a long. I know it's cliche sounding, but it is a long story. There's several episodes that kind of stand out that I could speak on. I personally believe I haven't been to a professional therapist, but I personally believe I survived. I don't want to say I was a victim. I survived a narcissistic relationship with a woman. And I wanted to speak on my experience because one, like you commented earlier in the show that for the longest time, I didn't know it was abuse because it wasn't physical. So a lot of people, they're like, why did you stay? Because I didn't know I was being abused. I like to use the analogy of you're sick, you feel sick, and the person that's giving you your medicine, quote unquote, is putting a little bit of poison in the medicine. And they tell you they love you and they give you the medicine and this person helped me get well, you know what I mean? But all the while they're giving you more of what's making you sick. You know what I mean? So I was with a woman that she was very slick, very emotionally manipulative. She would use emotional blackmail, things like threatening to kill herself, things like that. What else? Another thing is financial abuse, where they'll deplete all the money so you can't access it to do anything. It's based on insecurity. They don't want you to have enough money to leave or to do anything that will separate you from them. I was isolated, lost friends, lost relationships, compromised relationship with my family, been punched in the face. You know what I mean? Just any and everything.
Hold on, wait a minute. Hold just 1 minute.
You know, I don't mean, I'm not making light of it, you know what I mean, because it happens, you know what I mean, and it's, I want to speak on my experience just because I know there are men, and for a long time I didn't talk about it because it was embarrassing, you know what I mean, but that added to the problem, and I feel like there are other men out there that are in similar situations, and maybe my experience will, and talking about it will help somebody else that's not aware of what's going on with them to recognize some of the signs and see what's going on with them.
That's a good point. Like, because my first question, it really is like, what was because like we say that, you know, hindsight is 20/20, right? Because we don't always see something going in, or we don't recognize it going in, or we see it or ignore it, you know? So did you see any flags, like now looking back, did you see any flags that you kind of brushed off in the beginning of your relationship or your first meeting up and encounter? See, I understand that Rob was young at the time, so he really couldn't, you know, get his mother, you know, or see certain things that his mother might have missed prior to her going to a relationship with this guy, but you being a grown man, being in a whole scenario, different scenario, was there any flags that you could say, man, I saw, but I brushed it off, or I missed that?
Yes and no. Like I said, it was a long story, and I guess I should give you some of the foundation, the backstory. I married my high school sweetheart, so quote unquote sweetheart. I met this woman when I was 15 years. Well, she wasn't a woman. I met her when I was 15 years old. She was 16. So my experience with women, and I was very naive. I went in pretty much with my guard down. I didn't have a grown man's understanding of relationships and things of that nature. So we progressed into living together and being married, but I'm still the same woman. So we have certain things, a certain dynamic that was already created. So once you, I had an older friend that told me that when you're in a situation, you might not see it. Like he used the analogy of you're standing next to, if you have your nose next to a wall, you're not going to see the mural on the wall. You're just going to see your small little space of it. And I had the good fortune of having people around me, really good friends and really good family that pulled me aside and spoke on things and told me things here and there. But I guess those would be the red flags. But I was so manipulated. I was so lost in the emotional manipulation at that point, even at that young, that I didn't say I ignored it, but it wasn't major at that point. It hadn't really jumped out yet,
Yeah. So as time evolved, like what little things did you recognize that was in previous behavior when y'all were younger, but you just didn't identify it as what it was until you got older?
Little things at the time, like me always having to be with her, me always having to give her my attention. If I spent time with my friends, male or female, there was an incident where I went to go to the movies with my sister. It's both of my sisters, and she like blew up on me. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't spending time with her, and I'm like, I'm spending time with my family. You know what I mean? But at the time, I thought it was just like a little, you get into a fight with your lady. I didn't think nothing of it. You know what I mean? It stuck out to me, but I didn't think it was this person trying to control me, this person trying to isolate me. I didn't think of it that way at the time. But you give a person an inch, they'll take a mile. These type of people, they're always probing you to see what they can get away with. So once they set a precedent, they see how far they could take it. You know what I mean? And there were things, certain incidents, like I won't say an incident, but she faked the pregnancy. She faked the whole pregnancy. You know what I mean? And just the amount of emotions that get tied up into that. You know what I mean? It's just a lot of things, I put up with a lot. I stuck around. And unfortunately, by the time I was fully aware of what I was dealing with, I had children.
Wow.
And I didn't want to leave. I wanted to leave, but I couldn't leave. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It sounded like early on she dealt with, and she probably never identified it. And I guess you probably couldn't identify it at the time either, but it sounded like she had a serious problem with codependency too.
Mm-hmm.
I believe so. Looking back at it, I feel like I was an emotional crutch. Definitely.
Yeah. So how did things escalate?
Things escalated once we were married. She created this whole false scenario. They say abusers use emotional blackmail. One of the things that she used to keep me kind of always tending to her, to be around her, was that she was in a sexually abusive relationship. The relationship she was with, the guy she was with before me, supposedly raped, beat her, abused her the entire time they were together. And she was emotionally damaged. And she just needed someone to help her navigate that situation. She had a situation. She had a less than stellar home life, and I actually saw that play out. So that added to me wanting to be there for her.
Yeah.
You know, so at the time when certain, and that's why I guess that's how I was able to overlook the red flags, because this person isn't traumatized, you know, so they're sensitive. I need to kind of be there for them, you know what I mean? But the whole time she was gaming me, you know what I mean?
Right.
So how can this person that's been victimized so many times, how can they be an abuser? You know what I mean? It's so many layers that it's amazing. I'm still kind of proud of myself for finding my way out.
All right, quick question. I want to throw in a quick one on my mind. This Tony. Hey Terrence, how long did you deal with this before you finally decided that enough was enough?
The crazy thing about that was once I got to the point, we were together about 10, 11 years. I got to the point where I was fed up and I was going to walk away from the relationship. I had just moved to Florida. I had been there a few months. I had a little bit of money. I had just found an apartment, found a place to move. I was going to leave. I was going to move into this place sight unseen. I called to put down a deposit. They told me that the place had been rented. That same day, I found out she was pregnant with my oldest daughter.
Okay, so the whole time, let me just ask you this: did you feel like was it love when you look back at it, or did you feel like you was her savior, that you felt kind of sorry due to the things you just explained to us and the stories that she gave?
I mean, it was definitely love, because we had fun together. We did, and at least I did. I enjoyed her company, and I feel that was part of the game, quote unquote, because we would have like these dizzying, crazy highs, and then we would have the equivalent lows. You know what I mean? And part of what keeps you in the cycle is that you're chasing that high. It's it's called a trauma bond. They say that it highlights the same parts of your brain that highlight in like an addict when they smoke crack or shoot heroin or some kind of drug. You get that high from being with this person because you're in love with them. You get all that dopamine and those chemicals, those pleasure chemicals that rush your brain. So you grind your way through all the bad stuff to get back to that high. You're trying to get back to that good place again. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah, because, basically, I guess, a lot of times, and I think this is, we want to look at the brighter side of things, although we feel things that are negative and has negative connotations. And I think that's one of the things that happens in abusive relationships, is that, people will look at the brighter thing or hope for the brighter thing, Did you find yourself like, I guess, like, because you said already that you really looked at it, that she's been traumatized, so you felt like I really had to be there for her, because and in fact, it probably wasn't like I need to save her. It was just that I wanted to show her, and correct me if I'm wrong, I wanted to show her something different. I wanted to be different for her. Was that something that you had in your mind, and that made you like kind of do it?
That was it. That was definitely it, because I'm a very I'm a kind-hearted person. I came from a big family. I had a lot of friends. I had a huge social circle, and I'm the type of person, I give you, if you're in my circle, I give you everything, no questions asked. So here's this person that we're supposed to be in a relationship, a romantic relationship together. So like, I'm gonna give you the world. I'm gonna give you. What's mine is yours. You know what I mean? These are my people. They're your people now. So like, and it wasn't like I was trying to save her, quote unquote. I was just trying, like you said, I was trying to show her something different. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, there are good people out there. There are people that will have your back and not want anything in return necessarily. You know what I mean? And my kindness was taken for weakness. And one of the things that for a long time I was really closed off to people in general, but I know that I'm a kind-hearted person. I didn't let that change me. I recently pulled out of that and kind of opened myself back up again. one relationship is just a chapter in a book, and then more page in a book. You know what I mean? It's not the whole story. So I'm better for it.
So were you fearful at first for moving forward, since you said this was your high school sweetheart? You know, back in the day, dating is different, period, than it is today. But you've been with her for quite some time and experienced those traumatic things. Were you fearful to, leave the situation?
Yes. You always fear the unknown. You know, we created our. Not only we created life together, this woman was pretty much all I knew. You know, we had children together. We had went through all the ups and downs together, and I didn't take walking away lightly. But what the final thought in my head before I finally made that leap of faith was that if I stay, I'm gonna keep hurting. If I leave, I'm just gonna hurt for a little while. You know what I mean? And that's how I rationalized it, and I'm better off for it.
Speaking of hurting, man, did you see any? I guess, for lack of better terms, any of the residue of your relationship between you and your wife on your children?
Yes. I'm still seeing that play out. My youngest, my daughters are 9 and 10. My youngest daughter is she's a sweet child, but when she gets angry, and I can't help but think her seeing me and her mother fight and argue so much has some kind of influence on that. My oldest daughter, she's kind of withdrawn herself. She just kind of, children are very resilient, but that doesn't mean that like they're not affected. You know what I mean? She just kind of, okay, whatever. You know what I mean? She's used to it, quote unquote, and that makes me sad. You know.
I want to interject real quick, Miss Tony. What you were just saying about your daughters and everything. We know sometimes people become a product of their environment, right? When on my page, I posted something on my page that made me think about when you was talking about how you stayed in the relationship so long. And so on my post, I put, this relationship is going to kill me. And it's a picture of a pencil and a pencil sharpener, right? So if most people didn't understand what it was saying, was that the pencil felt it needed the sharpener in order to what? You need to sharpen the pencil to work, right?
Right.
But the sharpener was actually killing it, because eventually it's going to run out. It's going to be used, yes. And so that's what happens when I thought about that when you were saying how you stayed in, she probably felt codependent and things of that nature. I'm being real subtle tonight because it's me back on the show again, but they'll tell you I'm kind of, I'm not. Let me try.
You're not well. You're not well.
I'm not what Ted, I don't know if you watched the other show. Marcus, stop it, Marcus. But I'm trying to bring in a new Tony,
for now.
For now, and the thing is,
I am delivered.
Okay, I hope I can stay delivered. You understand? And so, Terrence, usually I would have no sympathy, right? I really wouldn't, because I have this thing about you only get what your hand allows for, right? But then when I listen to Curtis and I listen to the gentleman that spoke earlier, and Trina, it made me realize, it made me really evaluate that you are the person who you are, and so you was just trying to display a particular aspect and traits of yourself to someone who needed it. However, that person couldn't receive it because of whatever damage or whatever she was going through with her own life. And we have to realize that some people are not going to be receptive to the love and the caring nature that you have to give to them until they get fixed. And that's why I asked the other gentleman about, did you go to therapy? You know, did you see a psychiatrist? Because you have to be fixed in order to work. You know, but I applaud you for, you know, being around that long, you know, being patient with the young lady, and now you learn some things, and maybe, you know, you can give some lessons to someone, you know, that can help them out in a relationship that they may encounter that you was already involved in. So I definitely applaud you for that.
And I want to say, as a woman, I applaud you as well, because not that the fact that you stayed in a non-healthy relationship, but that you were there. You were there for your wife. You were there for your kids. You know, a lot of times black men are labeled and put in negative categories when there's a lot of men actually out there doing their thing, taking care of their family, period. So I applaud you on that. And I appreciate you sharing your story with us.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And I appreciate y'all letting me come on and tell my story. Thank you.
Definitely. And like I was saying earlier too, that we were going to share some resources. So if you're in Washington, D.C., and you're in a situation like this, you know, I encourage you to reach out to DC Safe, P.O. Box 7412, Washington, D.C. The phone number is 202-506-2901, or even my sister's place. That's 202-529-5261, or DC Victim Services 24-hour hotline, which is 1-844-443-5732. Or you might not be in this area. You might be somewhere else. So it's the National Domestic Hotline, which is 1-800-799-SAFE, or even 1-800-799-7233. So just realize that this is a serious scenario and a lot of people experience it. Don't stay in that place. Now, you know, we got 30 more minutes left almost in the show. So actually really just going to talk some more like from both of you guys, like how do you believe that we can prevent, you know, those two scenarios or ones that might evolve even from children sin or whatever? Just, you know, just put you out there you feel.
I don't know. I guess to jump out there for me, just try to be aware who you're dealing with. Like my experience, someone that was in the exact same situation that I went through. Listen to your gut. Listen to your gut. Listen to the people that are close to you, because the people that love you are telling you what's right. You know, always pay attention to your intuition, and vet people. Make people earn the gifts that you have to give them, the things that you've given from inside of you, because those things are precious, and they're not for everybody. They're not for just any and everybody.
Good, thank you.
Tez, this Rob, let me ask you a question. After you had kids, right? And you kind of knew that you didn't want to do it anymore. Did you stay more because it was like, I want to keep the family together type thing, before you forget it? Because when I was with my baby mother for years, it was more of like, I don't want the family to break up. It was more of, I want us to stay together more than, oh, I just want to be together. It was more about keeping the family together. Did you ever feel like that?
Definitely. You know, looking back, I thought I was fighting for the relationship, you know, but they say hindsight's 20/20. I'm looking back, I was just trying to keep my home intact for my children. I mean, I did love this woman, and I think I was just fighting for familiarity. That was like my entire world at the time, you know, and I didn't want to do right by my children. I thought I was doing what was best for them. So yeah, I agree with that.
I asked because I kind of did the same thing, so that's why I asked.
And I think for like black men, I don't know if it's the same for other men, but like Trina said, we were stigmatized that we don't want to take care of our children, we don't want to be husbands, we don't want to be head of the household, you know. And I think I was kind of trying to buck that label also.
Yeah.
You know. But it was at the core of it. It wasn't just I'm fighting to be with this woman, or I'm putting up with so much mess to be with this woman. You know, you have children and they're innocent, and you like just because I made my rationale was just because I made poor decisions doesn't mean they should have to be affected by it. You know?
Yeah. Okay, all right. Because I kind of did the same exact thing. It was more like, and the thing was with me, before I had kids, I didn't want kids. I was nervous the whole time. But like after it happened, I was nervous. Like I was nervous until I seen the baby. I was nervous till I seen the baby. I ain't talked to nobody for 9 months. I was just walking around, looking in the sky. I didn't talk to nobody. I was at work. Everybody was like, "What's wrong with you?" I just didn't say nothing. I just was walking.
Hold on, wait a minute. Hold just 1 minute.
I was like 19, 20. I didn't know what to do. So, but it's like after it happened, it was like, okay. And then after a while, I got used to it, and I was like, this is what I want. Like, I ain't never think I wanted to be a family man and have kids and just stay in the house with my girl and my kids. And that's what I turned into. And when it was kind of getting to the end point, I wasn't liking that at all. Like, because that's what I was used to, and that's like what I grew into. But at first, I definitely didn't want that. I wasn't going that way at all. I was terrified.
I had my children a little later, like but like you, I didn't want children. They told me and my wife that we weren't gonna have children, and I was almost 30, and I was pretty much used to doing what I wanted when I wanted. So I was like, I'm not gonna change that. I'm not gonna willingly change that. You know what I mean? And her winding up pregnant was totally out of the blue, and I've never told anybody this, but just keeping it a buck, keeping it 100% real. Like I didn't even want my daughter. I didn't even want her. That's how far gone I was in the relationship. I didn't want her. Like I was hoping that like the pregnancy test was a fluke. Like it came from the dollar store. Like we're gonna go get one of the real joints. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was hoping she miscarried. You know what I mean? I really was that like just far gone. You know what I mean? And I don't know what trimester it's in. My daughter's 10, so I haven't. But I was so I was so like withdrawn up until where I heard her heartbeat at when you go for the
sonogram.
I forget what trimester it is. Yeah, for the sonogram.
Yeah.
I heard her heart, and it was like everything just changed completely, like night and day in the instant, and like it hit my heart, and I cried. It was like those kind of tears that just come out spontaneously. You know what I mean? You know, you can't even choke it back. You know what I mean? And I knew I wanted to protect that heartbeat. I knew I wanted to keep that heartbeat going. You know what I mean? And that feeling has never gone away.
Because you know, when you said that, so other people might have heard the surface of what you said. I didn't hear the surface, right? You know, as you said, it's keeping the buck. You said it as I didn't want my daughter, but that ain't what I heard when you said that. You know, somebody else might have been like, "Well, dang, how you not want his daughter?" Yeah, what I really heard is that I didn't want to be in a relationship no more, and I knew this meant I had to stay.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, so you know, by actually hearing the heartbeat, you know, I actually changed. You know, definitely, it took away the clouds in the relationship because what you saw was the sunshine. You know, and that was your daughter. You know, unfortunately, you know, the situation didn't change because of your daughter, but you were blessed with your daughter. And so I didn't hear I didn't want my daughter. You know, I heard I didn't really want to be in this relationship no more. And as a man, I really wanted to be there for my child. So that's why I stayed. And I commend you for that. You know what I'm saying? Because some people, man, would have been out the door and gone, even with a child. You know what I'm saying? So that says a lot about you too as a man. That I even endured even more storms because I wanted to make sure that my child was good and knew that they had a father that loved them. And same go for you, Rob. I understand that you stayed there because of your children as well. And just throwing this back out there too, right? Do you both of y'all? Let's go to both of y'all. Do y'all believe that staying is worse for the child when the scenario is toxic?
Yeah, because they're gonna see it. They're gonna notice it. Eventually, as they getting older, they definitely gonna see it. Maybe not as babies, but a little bit older, they definitely notice more. Even when my daughters was 7, 8, they wasn't stupid. They could see what's going on. They knew if we was together or if we wasn't. But it's not even that I stayed because of the baby. It's just that more of the ending. I just didn't like the fact that we was gonna be separated.
Okay.
It was more like that.
Okay.
Yeah, because we were good. We were together for years and years and years. We were good now. We still working on stuff. We're good now. So it's not even a problem now.
That's good.
But it's like, I was messed up the whole pregnancy. I was terrified. And until I seen the baby, I was messed up till I seen the baby. And then I almost passed out like it was a movie. I did. As soon as I seen it happening, I got dizzy and I almost passed out like it was a movie. I woke back. I got up quick though, but I almost had one of them moments.
So what about you, Cortez? You think staying longer? I mean, because obviously you were leaving at the point of you finding out she was pregnant. But once you found out she was pregnant, you stayed 10 years or 9 years because you had a 9-year-old too. So do you believe like staying that length of time exposed them to more toxic situations or toxicity that, that could have been avoided had you just been a present father but not present in the household?
Yeah, I think so because the situation, my situation deteriorated. The arguments and the fighting became more vicious, more frequent, and I feel like no children should have to endure that. They shouldn't have to put up with any kind of chaos or negativity. They're innocent. They shouldn't have to deal with all that. I feel like I wish I would have, if I known what I was dealing with and I known just whatever issues I had within myself, I would have definitely navigated the situation differently. I would have tried to get therapy sooner to try to just work some things out. But I think sticking around is definitely not the best course of action. I think a lot of us, I know in my situation, it wasn't all just, okay, we're staying together for a family. Like we were a two income household, sometimes 3. You know what I mean? Sometimes I was working 2 jobs. She was working full time just to get by. And a lot of times people stay together for financial reasons, especially in the last, 10 years or so, so it was a lot of obligation. There's a lot of things that you, in leaving a relationship, there's always a reason to stay. Especially if you have children, there's always a reason to stay. You know what I mean? I personally felt like I was being selfish if I would have left, But a friend of mine told me that sometimes you got to break away and get yourself together and circle back. Otherwise you're gonna, like the brother said with the pencil, you grind yourself away. There's gonna be nothing left. You can't give anybody anything if there's nothing left. I'm kind of rambling on here, but yeah, it's worse. I think it's worse to stay.
Yeah, I just want to say, actually, you said you didn't want to be selfish, but being selfish is staying, because we're showing kids, at an early age that it's okay to be in a toxic relationship. And I'm only speaking from experience. This show is about you all, so I'm not going to go into my side, but It's teaching kids that that's okay, and then they're being torn in the middle between their mother and father. And at that age, you're talking about from a baby on, they don't know what side to choose, or they don't know what's right and what's wrong. They just know they love their parents. And a lot of parents in that situation who are married or who are married, they feel that they should stay there to, keep the family together. But really, it's causing more harm than good. But I commend you for being there and trying to help. I like how you said, therapy. Therapy is big, and even in our community, we're doing better, but we shy away from therapy a lot when therapy can help out a great deal.
Yeah, I agree. Because back as in our communities, we have always been told you go to see the doctor, psychiatrist, or anything, or therapist. You may like, oh, you crazy. And that does not mean that. It's you just never know. How therapeutic it is to be able to speak about something. And to just get it out and have, because a lot of times too, most of the times they ask open-ended questions and allow you to work yourself through the process. So it's important to get away from that stigmatism that you think that people put on people that might go see or seek therapeutic help. It's important because your mental capacity, your mental sanity is important. People can work all day long and deal with, work out all day long, but if your mind is not in a good place, you're not going to be able to accomplish what you want to accomplish and move past what you need to move past. And one thing about trauma shows up in, like, if trauma is never dealt with, it's like, for instance, like, I'll give you a prime example, and I'm quite sure that all of us that's on this call probably have seen it in some scenario whatsoever in relationships. If you've experienced a certain trauma, or that somebody that you're dealing with experienced certain traumas, you sometimes see the residue. You know what I'm saying? And not the residue. Sometimes you might see a wound, and a wound that's not properly healed, it like a scar, right? You touch that scar again and it ain't properly healed. Basically, all it's going to do is you're going to bleed all over somebody. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times people, because they never deal with stuff, they bleed all over the person that they connected to, and they take them through unnecessary trauma because they never dealt with the trauma they dealt with. That's why it's important to take a note. If you have been in a scenario like that, take some time and allow yourself to heal.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree too.
Definitely good to go. Definitely. Because I don't think if I went when I was 16, I don't know. I don't know if I would have turned out the way I am now, as okay as I am now. It's definitely good to go talk to somebody. Don't just sit around and think. It's like a boiling pot. You're going to let it out on somebody eventually. You might do it the wrong way. So it's definitely good to talk to somebody about whichever way it is, whether it's the male or the female side. It's definitely good to talk to somebody about it. Because holding it in is not going to do nothing for you.
Hey, Rob, you like the king of segways, right? Or you might not even know, but
yeah, I know.
King of segways, right? Because you said if I didn't go at 16, I wouldn't be like the man that I am today, for real, truthfully. So I heard some stuff, because we talked about, domestic violence from the other side. We heard both of your stories. We heard certain tools that you use, but like the men now, like Cortez. I heard you are an inspiring comedian. Rob, I heard you doing with music and acting and all that. So tell us about the after effect now. You done went through what you went through. What's your after effect? Who are you on now?
Well, you want to go ahead first, Ted?
You go ahead, speak, brother.
Okay, cool. All right. Let's just say years and years ago, I definitely wasn't as mature as I am. I'm definitely in the management. I'm good at being. Right now, I'm a manager at UPS. So I'm a supervisor at UPS now. Like being like having a job like that where you have to be in control of a lot definitely keeps your mind off certain stuff like that. Because every once in a while, I do think a couple of times at work, I might just think about my mom or what happened, or I could just be getting off. But because I got this so much responsibility at work, it like keeps me, you know, my mind off little stuff like that now. It definitely, like, as much stuff as I gotta do now, man, I ain't got time to sit around and think about that all day no more. Like, certain things, maybe it's your career, certain things help you out. I think my last job, that wasn't doing enough, because I definitely had more moments with my last job. With now, not as much. Definitely not as much. I went through a lot. I got hurt a long time ago. I had to learn how to re-walk. Like, I had a lot of stuff happen in some years. So, like, right now, I'm doing good. I'm good. Not tripping. It doesn't happen as much more on the birthday month. I know sometimes my brother still has little, you know, moments, but not me as much. I try to help him out with that, but I'm pretty okay. That's why it's like I can talk about it. It's not going to hurt me to talk about this at all.
And you
an actor now, right?
Yeah,
Oh, good.
that's what I wanted to get on.
I'm trying.
Your creative side, you know, modeling. You mentioned modeling and
yeah, I've been getting all type of stuff from people. Take these pictures, do this. It's definitely since my head grew longer now, so they definitely trying to get me to do all type of stuff. But
Hold on, wait a minute. Hold just 1 minute.
You don't know when
every time. Every time.
All right. Cortez, what you doing now? You a comedian now?
I'm an aspiring comedian. I have worked a couple local open mics. The whole COVID lockdown has kind of put the brakes on things. Things are slowly starting to open back up. I'm hoping to get a spot at the Orlando Improv open mic in the next couple of weeks. I'll keep you guys posted. Maybe I can get some video out to y'all. Other than that, but just writing.
Give us one now. There's people in Florida to see you right now. Give us one.
Do I work clean? Do I got to work clean or clean up a little bit?
This touchy topic filthy bag.
yeah.
Okay. This is actually a joke I just wrote today. This is actually a joke I wrote today.
Go ahead,
And,
Cortez. Tell us a little something though. Give us a little.
This is something I wrote today. I like getting head. I just don't like asking for it because I feel like asking for head is like asking for an apology. Like, it'll feel good, but that shit really don't count.
Yeah, the guys like
They funny.
They come to see you at Orlando Improv.
Yeah.
When the COVID goes away,
And also, I heard you are into writing as well, writing scripts, short scripts. Can you tell us?
I have several ideas. I'm actually looking into taking some screenwriting class because I'm very rough, but I feel like I have good ideas. The things I run by people, they fall out and laugh. And Trina, I've actually pitched some ideas indirectly to you that you were interested in, and I have this big brain of mine full of jokes and ideas and characters and everything that I would like to bring to the world.
Matter of fact, Matt Trina, you the plug, man. You know we interviewed. Actually, he doing something right now for BET. Now that I think about it, you know what I'm talking about, Trina?
BET. Who are you speaking?
I think he directing something for BET right now. We interviewed him with my man DC.
Are you talking about Malik Pollard?
Yeah. He was on the show with Lavelle.
Yeah.
And Lavelle did. Lavelle, he the man when it comes to he did the MGM for
the Giz. He's done the Golden Girls. Lavelle Long. He's does screenwrite. And you know, he does a lot of great things inside and outside of the area.
Yeah, definitely, man. Hey,
so
come
actually,
on.
and actually, you know, there is a lot of opportunities available. That's what I've been telling Rob and Cortez. You know, I try to keep my foot out there as well as you and Tony, because you all are always doing something. But, you know, I always like connecting people where I can and working with them. And they both definitely have the talent. Actually, Rob here was going to be in Harlem Week. I was working with him on that before COVID, a fashion show that happens every year. And talked to him about, because I do Fashion Week every year, corresponding. So I talked to him about going there, but he was actually going to be in the show for Harlem Week.
Come on, man.
So opportunities are out there, you know.
Yeah. But I thank you boys. I mean, I thank you guys for coming on here for.
Yeah.
Look. I don't know what that say, bro. Yeah, scratch that. I thank you guys, man, for coming on here, man, on a serious side, you know, and talking about domestic violence from the other side. Truthfully, you know, many people are not going to be able to just say, listen, I'm ready to just, you know, tell my story, you know, as a man, because we as men cut things up. You know what I'm saying? We guard things, we hold them close. Don't want to let people know we've been through nothing for real, except, you know, what's glorified, you know. But definitely, man, I salute you both for coming on here and sharing your story, man. And definitely, man, keep striving and keep doing what you're doing. And like I said, and I'm gonna pass it back over to my co-host. I'm gonna say one more time that if you in a scenario, you're in a situation, no matter where you at, you can call the National Domestic Hotline, which is 1-800-799-SAFE, or if you need the number, it's 1-800-799-7233. That's the National Domestic Hotline. Please don't stay in that situation. Make a call and get out.
That's right. Author Tony, do you have any last words?
Y'all waiting on me to say something?
Yeah.
Okay. Rob and Tez definitely appreciate the story tonight. I know there's a lot of other areas of abuse that happens when it comes to the other side, when it deals with men. Yeah. We all, like, I'll say something real quick, and I didn't know that I was affected by my mom's when I was growing up, when she used to yell and scream at me. And one of the shows I did for my I Over E, it actually came out that was how I was traumatized when I was a young boy by what my mother did to me. So that's why I just wanted to bring that part of this show, that there's so many other areas of men being traumatized in relationships when it comes to women. And so I'm showing the side of my mom. But I definitely appreciate y'all coming on the show. We definitely know that this is going to be something that we got to do again. And like I said, you know, just stay safe out there. You know, whenever you need someone to talk to, always look for that person who has the open ear for you. Tez, I was nice to you tonight. I really was. Because I really was.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
He really was.
Yes, I really was. But like I said, you know, I'm glad that you can now utilize what you've been through now to become an outlet to make others heal and others laugh. All right. And I applaud you, and I wish you the best in your career and your endeavors as a comedian. Okay.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Hey Rob, I already know. Look, Curtis already said it. You the man already. We already know. All we want is free tickets to your shows and all that.
I'm gonna get to it.
But yeah, and don't forget though, because Cortez gonna be in Orlando at the Improv in a couple of weeks.
That's right.
Look, you already know that's what we do is comedy shows. You know that's what we did.
Yeah,
comedy shows when the world was open. So
and coming in the up and coming year, depending on how this pandemic is going, we're going to do the jazz and jokes, and Tez had already said he would come for that. So
I would love to be a part of that. Play the hometown crowd. Those are people I would like to be in front of.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what,
So I just want to say I appreciate you, Rob and Tess, for being open and to come on the show. You know, when I talked to you all about it, you all were happy to come on and are, willing to come on and share your stories. And I'm glad you did wholeheartedly. I'm glad we got the chance to see it coming from a male's point of view, because oftentimes, we look at it from the lady's point of view. Which is okay. We just need to be educated all the way around when it comes to domestic violence. And I'm going to say to anyone listening in, we touched on several things today when it comes to abuse, from the emotional side to the physical side, to the codependent side. There are so many forms, and if you are in that relationship or marriage, and you just need, I've said this before, it's no need to be in that. If you're getting hurt and abused, and when you have children, that's nothing that you will, you should have your kids to see growing up. It's very dangerous, as we talked about today. People can die, people can get locked up. Loved ones can get locked up because, a person you're with can get in trouble for doing something to them that they can't take back. So just, it's no game. I thank everybody for tuning in. We will be back the 4th. Well, I will have to get back on, I think it will be the 3rd. Yeah, the holidays are coming up. They've been promoting Christmas more than Thanksgiving right now, so seems like Christmas will come first. But
that's what it's looking like.
We're gonna
get Christmas commercials.
Yeah. But me and Curtis and Tony are going to talk about December dates, and we will get that to you all as soon as possible. Thank you for tuning in.
So go ahead and rock us out with that intro song real quick.
Yes, and that's done by Leighton Butler.
Get involved, listen to it all. It's touchy topics and they're gonna keep it raw. Talk about whatever, no nonsense, any kind of subjects. Just feel these touchy topics. Get involved, listen to it all. It's touchy topics and they're gonna keep it raw. Talk about whatever, no nonsense, any kind of subjects. Just feel these touchy topics. Feel these touchy topics.